Hello! Welcome to part 2 of Stumblethrough with Cogent, where we are taking a very relaxed approach to one of the most notoriously difficult games, or the most fiercely reviled games in all of gaming history. Oh, it's terrible and awful, yes. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to take a very relaxed run through Dark Souls. We're going to explain a little bit about the mechanics, where to go, what to do, and yeah, I hope you guys are really well. Remember, if you are enjoying my content, I would really appreciate a little subscribe and a like. That would be absolutely awesome. It just allows me to improve the stream in many, many ways. And yeah, if you want to see me live, I stream every day, Monday to Friday anyway, and occasionally on the weekends on Twitch. And my username there is Cogent Sturmendrang, and I'll put a link to that in the video description. So in our first video, we talked a little bit about character creation and where you go at the very start. We've killed our first boss, the Asylum Demon, and we talked a little bit about stats and items and all that kind of jazz. And so what we're going to do is we're going to carry on from where we left off. So we have just purchased the residential key, or the domicile key, or something like that. Residence key? Sounds about right. And we're going to carry on into this. So this is a bit of a pain. You have to run straight through, and it's one of those classic traps that are laid for you. You run out here, oh my goodness, there's two people with axes, and a third guy kicks the door in. And if you have a weapon that has sweeping attacks, it's really useful. There we go. Again, we talked a little bit about backstabbing as well in our last video. And we're just going to carry on through. You think, oh goodness, there's a door here. So what you'll find a lot is it does not open from this side. And what this means is that that is a shortcut door, which means that we have to kind of get to the other side of it before we can open that door and get back in good time. So I'm just going to explore these houses a little bit. There we go. Because I'm quite a strong character, it doesn't really matter so much that these things are blocking. There we go. If you can get in quick and before they block, then you can get them quite easily. And they're easy to predict. Now, this is one lesson that I will tell you, and something that you should really take to heart. You must have seen the memes. But always just give one attack to your chests. And the reason we do this is because they are not common, but there are mimics in this game. And what that means is that if you go to open that chest, you're... Hello, ZC. You alright, buddy? That's a nice little place for you to sit, isn't it? What do you reckon? Oh yeah, very interested. So Zeus will be in the house in a second. Yes, when you open this chest, basically, rather than a lovely item inside, you will have a set of jaws and a horrible tongue, and it will just eat you to death, which is frustrating. But again, if we're cautious and we're patient, then we can get through it. See, sweeping attacks are quite useful, especially early on in the game, because it allows us to attack more than one person at once. I'm going to go back up this ladder, and the reason for that is because there's a lootable, and I really don't like these guys, so I'm going to go and... These are the guys that have been throwing firebombs at us. Okay, just be nice and careful. Remember, we're not in a rush, we don't have to worry about anything. There we go, look. And there are very satisfying occasions, especially when you're fighting very powerful enemies, is luring enemies towards ledges. Because if you hit them in certain ways, they might stagger backwards and might end up falling, and then that is a free kill for you, which is fantastic. The only disadvantage of that is that you might not get any items that they had on them. So we know we picked up the residence key. There we go, I'm going to pop in here. So far. And obviously, because we're not only heroes, we're vandals. Oh, so good. Oh, I love it. There we go. There's our chest. Remember what I said? Always attack your chest. Again, 99 times out of 100, you won't have anything to worry about. But eventually you will. Now, gold pine resin is very, very handy. What it does is it's an item like your Estus flask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into change equipment, and you see where this little bottle symbol is here. This is kind of my belt. This is all my quick items, and I am going to just select on an empty slot, and I am going to move down, and I'm going to put that there. It says applies lightning to a right-handed weapon. So what that's going to do, when I use that item, it's just going to make my weapon attacks, for only a limited time, do more elemental damage, which is really, really handy. And there are certain bosses, there are certain creatures that are vulnerable to lightning damage. And again, I never really got into sort of like properly getting into the nitty-gritty mechanics, and I coped absolutely fine. And this is exactly what I want to put across, is that Dark Souls isn't difficult. It's just a question of practice and perseverance and accepting failure in a healthy way. When I'm in the right mindset, I find Dark Souls extremely relaxing, and everyone on all my viewers on my Twitch go mad at that. They go, well, how can you possibly find this game relaxing? It's because when you're in the right mindset, it's all about patience. See, it's not... It's as stressful as you make it. See this guy? He's a bit of a pain. See, he's kind of following me quite closely. There you go, tried to attack me, and that gave me the time to get back. Because once you find that flow, it's really lovely. Let's have a look at his chat. Okay, see, he tried to shield bash me there. Oh, and he actually did that time. Cheeky beggar. So, now we're through the kind of the Undead Burg kind of area. There's basically a warning. So, our progress is up these stairs. So I'm just going to show you what happens when you go up these stairs. So you get to this corner, you go, huh, that looks odd. What we're going to do is we're going to dash backwards, and then we're going to jump out of the way of that. So that does quite a lot of damage, and this guy follows down afterwards. The cheeky blighter. We'll get him down. Now, there is a very cool item down there, and like with all cool items, it is not given cheaply. So what I'm going to do in this case, just for me, I'm going to put on that Ring of Sacrifice, and the reason for that is that if I walk very carefully down here, oh dear. So these are called Black Knights, and they are very powerful and very aggressive. He's facing away from it at the moment. So what you can do, if you are careful, and I don't know how careful I'm going to be, but if you move very slowly, you might be able to get to him without him noticing you. You can start off with a backstab. These guys are very aggressive. They do a lot of damage. Oh dear. Okay, so that's changed up a little bit. So what I would say is that one of the good things about these guys is that they are quite good for practicing parries. If you are feeling a little bit more confident, as you can see the amount of damage he just did to me then, which is quite stupendous. Ow. So I'm just going to back up a little bit, and have another potion. Remember, we're keeping nice and calm, because again he has predictable patterns, remember. So if you're feeling confident, you can try and practice your parrying, which I'm not too good at, as you can see. However, if you can get that timing right, like that, there you go, you see him stagger away, you can stab him in the front, which does huge damage, and once he's getting up, you can have a little bit. Ow. Oh, he's very nearly got me. So what I'm going to do, this is a very sneaky thing you can do, so I'm going to quickly have a potion. And he's like, oh, you kids! I'm going to run back, I'm going to grab this item before he can kill me, because obviously you don't lose any items you get. But he did murder my head right off. And that's fine, that's okay, because, remember, I had the Ring of Sacrifice on. Ta-da! Da-da-da-da-da-da. So I will still go back to the bonfire, but I've kept all my souls, which is very handy. So yeah, so that is the demonstration of the Ring of Sacrifice. When you level up a little bit, and you get a little bit stronger, and you get a little bit better at your parries, when you fight these Black Knights, they are excellent practice for parrying, because their attacks are quite predictable. Whilst they're fast, you kind of know what they're going to do, but they offer up a lot of souls, and they don't respawn. Because you remember when I said when you rest at a bonfire, it resets the world. Those Black Knights do not come back. So once you've killed them, they're done. You get a nice little bumper crop of souls, about 3,500, which is a huge amount at this level. And let's see. I'm going to go for more strength. I like my strength. Oh, in fact, what we can do. So I've leveled up once. I'm actually going to go into my infantry now, because I found lots of these soul wallets, essentially. Soul of a Lost Undead. Thank you very much. Quite a lot there as well. Just remember that they're there, because you'll be pulling your hair out, going, "Oh, I really can't level up at the moment. It's terrible." Oh, just drink coffee so quickly. Shameful behaviour. So let's keep. I'll tell you what I can do. I'm going to level up twice. I'm going to put a couple in dexterity, and the reason for that is because it increases my dex a little bit and my attack a little bit. It will allow me to wield weapons, because most weapons have not only a strength requirement but a dexterity requirement. So, I've had a look at this. So I've got the Zweihander, which I'd love to use at the moment. As you can see, in the middle column, there is a red 24, which means I'm not strong enough because my strength is only 16. And next to the hand, little jazz hand, there is a 10, which means I need at least 10 dexterity to use that properly. Now, what I've done is gotten to 15 dexterity, which means I can now use that winged spear. And you'll find whatever weapon works for you the best. There we go. So now look, I've got a nice long spear rather than a swingy sword. So let's try this on someone. Hello. Okay, not great to start with, but there we go. Look, it attacks very quickly, which is excellent. Not a lot of variance in the attack, but as you can see, it can attack really quickly and not use a lot of stamina, which is great. But also means you can keep out of people's way, which is really useful. So let's... Oh, blimey, look at that. No. And sometimes, like me, you start to rush and you end up dying like that, you see? Remember, the disclaimer is, I am not good at these games. I am proving to you that anyone can play them and enjoy them. And it is just a question of either finding the playstyle that suits you and just learning that death isn't the end of the world in this game. It's not a failure at all. It teaches you that you actually need to fail to succeed in this game. Because you learn new things about your enemies. You learn different patterns and... So what I'm going to do is head out this door, and what that tends to do, especially as now I've got a spear, look, they all have to line up to get stabbed by me. So that's good, isn't it? Oh, hello. There's a young man here as well. There's no need to feel down, I said, young man. Now, if you... Again, and it really just depends on what kind of weapon style you want. People will, online, will always say, oh, always use this type of weapon, always use that. So, disasters are gone after you defeat the Gravelord's Servant. I have no idea what that means. I'm sure it's something very exciting, but I don't know. Bloody. So I'm not going to pretend, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, yeah, that means this. No, I have no idea. What are disasters in the game? Okay, but see, this is good. Let's see, if you're a slightly more cautious player, you can use the spear to sort of stay out of the fight, which is quite useful. As you can see in my top left-hand corner, I've got 2 humanity, which is good. Oh, I got that ring as well. Remember, if you pick up an item and die, remember that you did actually pick up an item. which is really, really good. So boost defense when your HP is low. Really, really handy, especially when you're first starting out and you need that extra little bit of help to get by. Nope, and nope, and nope. Ouch. There they are, they've fallen down. I thought this game is very quiet. And the reason is, it's because I'm not wearing my earplugs. I do apologise. Whoop, there we go. Right, let's have a little run down here. So clear your way through. I always used to forget that, that enemy up there with the crossbow, and it makes your life a lot more difficult. And if you notice that certain attacks drain more stamina, as you can see. However, you can do any attack so long as you have any stamina. So you might have one stamina left, but you can still do your most powerful attack. Which is something to bear in mind. I am going to wait until I leveled up a little bit before tackling that guy. So I'm going to show you something, and it will probably result in my death. But this is something. So if you've taken the Master Key as your starting gift, which I would recommend, the other items you can get at the start are alright, they're pretty good. But I found the Master Key to be the most useful. Again, nothing I say is gospel. There might be an amazing thing I missed out on. But the Master Key will unlock this door for you. Now, before I go down there, it's very important that you understand that this is tough. So, but, this guy is a little bit of a celebrity in Dark Souls. This enemy, he's called Havel. And he is a big, terrifying looking guy. And you'll find out in a second. If you can manage to kill him early on, he gives you one of the best rings in the game. It is basically a ring that allows you to wear much, much heavier armour. It's really, really useful. So, there he is. And what you'll find is his attacks are very slow, very easy to avoid, but oh my goodness are they powerful, and he has got a lot of hit points. So, what we're trying to do in this fight is never attack him directly, ever, 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 because firstly you'll do no damage to him whatsoever, because he's wearing that absolute kill. So just keep circling. There we go. Sometimes he'll just stop, and then you can run around behind him and backstabbing, and that is the most damage you're going to do to him. See? And that's what I wanted to show you, is the fact that at this level he will just kill you in one shot. Which is very bad news for us, understandably. But if you can just get him, if you can just keep up that backstabbing and take him down, he's got a brilliant ring which we need to get our grubby little mitts on. But do you see how I've just kind of avoided, or sorry, just managed to not avoid his last strike? I said it wouldn't matter at this level how many hit points I had. He would just one-shot me, which is tough. I'm not going to lie. So, today we're also going to kind of advance a little bit into the game. I'm going to get my souls back, hopefully, and hopefully survive with the encounter. You'll find that some attacks that they do sort of home in on you, as you can see, which is fine. It's just trying to recognise when those attacks sort of come through. And that's the lesson that you can learn with Havel, big angry armour dude at the bottom of those stairs. Because his attacks, if you look very carefully, and I'll see if I can... Ow. I might switch back to my longsword, only because I kind of prefer the sort of sweeping attacks. There he is. And let's just see. Just going to have a little drink. So whilst it does less damage, it's also better suited to me. So, this is one of the important things you need to remember as well. So, we had a look in the middle column saying rec param, required parameters, I suppose. And that is your required stats down in the middle of the column. To the left, under param bonus, you can see that there are grades. So this spear is E to strength and C to dex, which means the amount of strength or dex you have affects that weapon's damage to a greater or lesser extent. I know that sounds very, very confusing, but let's have a look at the longsword. The longsword is C and C. So that means, because I've got a high strength, it means my weapon is boosted more using that sword because I've got a higher strength. Does that make sense? So if you find something with A or S as the... Look at these cheaters healing. No, I don't know. Disgraceful. Okay, remember, we're keeping nice and calm as well. Because the thing is, you start to panic in this game, you really do. Like with any game, isn't it? You get a little bit rushed, a little bit flustered, and you end up making mistakes. So as soon as we keep nice and calm, for the most part, we'll be absolutely fine. There will be times where you're simply overwhelmed, and that's okay as well. It's fine. Remember, if you start to get frustrated with it, what you need to do is just take a break. Remember, we play games to have fun, okay? This is our leisure time. You might not be going, whoa, oh my word, it's a roller coaster, but having a good time is the thing you want to do, alright? So let's run back down here to Old Havel. I'm going to go two-handed simply because this guy, this confounded guy, there's no point in blocking him either. He does so much damage. But I'll try and demonstrate a little bit about the kind of attack mechanics. So what you'll find, and he's quite a good example of this, like he'll swing up really slowly, and then the second you notice that downswing, that's when the attack will start to home. As you can see right there. So I moved to one side, but I didn't dodge, as you can see, so I wasn't invincible. So that's the importance of dodging. But again, notice that I'm not getting flustered. I said this is all part of the game. Remember, death is part of it. And it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to worry about it. Ow. Some things enemies do, you think, what? That's crazy. But that's fine. So let's pop through here. Excuse us. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. We'd rather not. Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So again, if you are in a bit of a hurry and you do want to get to another place, you can bypass enemies. And to a greater or lesser extent, they might stop following you. Stabberoonie. Right. But to be fair, my advice is really, if you are feeling okay, just try and be patient, and you can try and clear your way through the area. Only because it just gives you more souls to play with later. And that's why you never really lose out when you die. It's because it gives you another opportunity to gather those souls, and if you can make it back to your corpse, it means you have a lot more souls to play with, to level up with. So think of dying as another opportunity to get some more souls, you see. That's what I try to do anyway. So let's go back through here. So what I'm going to try and do, it's because Havel is a big angry man, and at the moment I don't feel particularly comfortable or confident dealing with him, so I'm gonna... Oh no, he's carrying his friend! Ah, that's typical. Okay, I'm just gonna slow... I'm gonna take it nice and slow. There we go. Let's not... Uh-oh. So I would like those souls back. So I'm just going to have a little quick drink. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about something called kindling as well in a bit. Oh goodness. There you go. See, I'm not fully concentrating, you see. That's why I'm suffering a bit. There we go. That's fine. As long as we're nice and relaxed, we can generally get through whatever this game throws at us. Oh. That was very silly of me, wasn't it? There you go, I'll drink as well, mate. There we are. We can both do that together. Uh-oh. Deary me. There we go. See, that's me not concentrating and just trying to rush through to show you guys the rest of the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get down there. Now, you may think me mad, and I'll explain my reasoning to you now. So, I've got all this lovely armour on. Fantastic, isn't it good? Don't want it. So I'm going to get a little bit naked. And the reason for this is, when you noticed before, in fact I'll put my gear back on. Look at my dodge. You roll forward a little bit and then you stand up slowly. Yeah? And that is because, this is when we talked about in our last one, the equipment load. As you can see, my equipment load at the moment is 21.4 out of 54. Now, this is a bit mathsy, so I do apologise. If you want what is called the fast dodge, you need an equipment load which is less than a quarter of your total maximum. So if we say our quarter max is 54, so we can divide that by 2, which is 27, and then divide that by 2 again. So that's about 13.5. If we can keep our equipment load below 13.5, it means that we have access to the fast dodge. So there we go. So not looking too good, but look at my dodge now. It's really fast. And what that means is that my invincibility frame, so what you'll hear a lot of things about iframes, that is how long you're invincible for in this ROM. That is greatly extended when you have the fast dodge. And you go a little bit further and it uses less stamina, so it is, whilst it's tempting to go full tank, and I'll try and uh-oh. Let's do that, and basically what we're going to do is we are going to cheese it. He might follow us all the way out, to be fair. Because he gets very mad. Does Havel. If he doesn't, great. But if he does, there are ways we can guard against that. So, never panic. You might be able to hear him. You still traipse him. Can you hear him? You see the footsteps fade away? So that's the thing. So if you run far enough away from an enemy, they will eventually go back to where they their patrol point. Oh my stars! Now, this is a very interesting thing because this is actually a boss. So there's a couple of important steps. So firstly, we're going to keep nice and calm. Okay. We're going to traverse the white light. So when we run up that tower at the end of Undead Burglar, we've got some battlements, which is fine. What we're going to do first is we're going to do a little hairpin around to the right, because there's a ladder. And the reason for that is that you can see him ready. Surprise! These guys make your life a lot more difficult. Oh, I do prefer that fast dodge. And I would recommend, again, it's entirely up to you, obviously, but I would recommend being a fast dodger. It is so useful. Right. So far, no boss. Okay. And I've only got one Estus flask. Oh my goodness. So what are we going to do about that? Right. Remember, we need to keep nice and calm, okay? And here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk along the battlements. It's fine. Keep an eye on the top of that battlement for me. Oh my goodness. Now, the second he lands, we are going to sprint all the way back. The Taurus Demon is upon us. We are going to run. We're going to get on that ladder and we're going to climb as fast as we can. Because that's what he does to the ladder. So now, look, he's still below us. I'm going to leap off. and use something called a Plunging Attack, which does a little bit more damage. And again, because this guy's a big lad, we are not... We're going to keep nice and calm. We can get under his legs. Oh dear, see, I've got a little bit hit there, which is fine. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to get behind him. I'm going to run up this battlement. I'll have a little drink as well. So he's going to leap. Now what I'm going to do is when he's recovering from that... There we go, as you can see, he's making attacks, the screen shakes. And I'm going to get back up that ladder. There we go. Remember, it is to keep nice and calm in this, because what we're going to try and do is keep doing the plunging attack on him. Once it's done correctly, look, it does a huge amount of damage. And we're going to run back up. I mean, this guy is very scary. I mean, look at him, he's huge. So the reason we want him to run up to us, it basically gives us a little bit more time to run up to this ladder and get back here without him hitting us. There we go, I'm going to sprint off. And then as I'm going down, I'm pressing the light attack button. And every time I plunge attack, I do a huge amount of damage. Now what I'm going to do is run back at the balance. But have you noticed how relatively simple this kind of process is? There you go, I'm going to get back on that ladder. And I'm going to try and get up that ladder without him hitting me. Oh! I cut a little bit fine there. If you want to kind of ensure your safety... There we go, look. A really tough fight, really, really simple. And that is 90% of Dark Souls. The obvious solution is not always the best one. But see, even a chump like me can do that boss. So remember, when you get in through that door, do a quick right, climb up that ladder, kill the two crossbow guys at the top, climb back down the ladder, because you don't want to hurt yourself unnecessarily. You have a little trot along here. The second he leaps off the battlements, you run back to that ladder, and you just repeat what I did, which is do a plunging attack, run up the battlements for a little bit until he chases you, spin back round, try and roll through the attack he does against you, climb up the ladder, plunging attack, and that's him done. Lovely. Easy peasy. See? And this is what I mean about Dark Souls being for everyone. It's all learnable. See? And that's what a nice person does, look, is he let us know that there was an item ahead and hidden in those boxes. So once we've done that, we're going to head down these stairs. Now, you think, oh no, it's locked. So before I show you what's off, so as I come out of that door off to my left, I'm going to go right. And the reason for that is we're going to speak to a lovely guy.
Ah, hello. You don't. I am Solaire of Astoria.
This is probably one of the most famous guys in all of the Dark Souls things, Solaire of Astoria. He is basically a guy who wants you to engage in jolly cooperation. Absolutely.
The way I see it, in a land...
So, yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the Covenant, and that is the white sign soapstone. So this is something that you can do optionally, and if you're first starting out and you're still learning the game, you might not want to do it, but honestly, there is really no... Yep, okay, cool. Yep. There is no right or wrong way to play this game. I clawed my way through on a garbage build in the tones, my disapproving tones of my moderator on Twitch, but did it. So we need to be very careful here. But no, what that soapstone does is basically allows you to be summoned into someone else's world to help them with something, which is very good. It's very good fun. But we're not here for that. We're here for this bridge. Oh, it's just a straight bridge. That's fine. That's not a problem. It is a problem. So, at the moment, it's just those guys. We are not going to worry about those guys. We're not even going to worry about the glowing items on this bridge. We are going to start sprinting. Alright? We're going to sprint up. We're going to dodge through all their stuff, and we're going to get right. It's always a very, very close call. Holy smokes. Because, you know that dragon that landed on the steps in our last episode? Yeah, that dragon's back, and he is there to flame us. So, what I just done there, sorry if that was a little bit quick, I'll run up and demonstrate again, is having run down those stairs, so I jinked off to the right-hand side, ran down those stairs, I've ignoring that archway on the right for the second, and I'm going to run into this one and down these stairs. And look, dun 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 dun, it's our bonfire at the Undead Burg. We've now opened a shortcut. Which is amazing, which gives us a lot of opportunity now. Bum, 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 bum. To level up quite a lot, which is great. And also, we were also given a soul of last dead, which is fantastic. Now, I just have to remind myself, we didn't get a soul off that, but certain bosses give you great souls, which allow you to do certain things, but we're not going to worry about that just for now. What we're going to worry about is something called reversing our hollowing, which we have done before, if you remember, but I'm going to do that now. So you can notice I've got 3 humanity, so I'm going to use one of them to reverse that hollowing. Ta-da! There. Buff as brisket, I tell you. And the other thing I'm going to do, because I've got 2 humanity left, I'm now, what's going to do is kindle. And what that does, you notice the 5, I had 5 Estus flasks, my healing potions. What I'm going to do now is offer another humanity and kindle this bonfire. And what that does is gives me an extra 5. Which again is never explained to you, but something that is very, very important, because there's a very long distance between bonfires sometimes, and it's important to have as many healing potions as you can. It just gives you that safety net, basically. Once we're done with that, I know I am looking pretty rude and hot with my top off, but we'll keep going because I've still got my fast dodge. As you can see, look, there's a big evil tail. Now, I'll tell you a little secret about that tail, is if you have a bow with about 1,000,000 arrows, you can shoot that tail over and over and over again. It takes about 20 minutes, at least. But after a certain while, you shoot off that dragon's tail, and it gives you a very powerful 2-handed sword. But we're not going to do that, only because, firstly, it will be extremely boring to watch. And secondly, if we have a look at our items, our equipment, and we had a look at our stats, it has parameter bonuses and requirements. It requires a lot of strength to wield, but it doesn't benefit at all from your increased stats. So it's like powerful right now, which is fine, but we don't really need it. There you go. Do you see what I just did there? Is because he was blocking, I did forward and light attack at the same time, and that broke his guard. Oh, see you later. And if you're wondering what these things on the ground are, they are bloodstains, and this shows you a little replay of someone dying on in this area. Look, doesn't really help us too much there, but there are occasions where these things give us actually a little bit of forewarning. So, as you can see, a bunch of rats in there, not very good for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to track them, and I'm going to move back out. And the reason for that is that there's not just those 2 in there. And remember how they poisoned us before? And again, we want to be very, very careful about that. So I'm going to have a little potion. Because right now, we don't have any items that deal with poison. So getting poisoned at this point is not good. Not good at all. As you can see, look, just around this corner, there's another rat! Cheeky devil! Because if you sort of set out and go, oh yes, I'm going to kill those 2 rats right there, that's fine. And you run to here, you start to make your attack, and then immediately get bitten in the side of the head. I love his grinning face. Hello! To be fair, I'd be jubilant if I was that stacked as well, to be honest. Right. I'm going to head up here. What we're not going to do is head up this watchtower, and the reason for that is that there is, remember those Black Knights we saw in the last episode? Yeah, there's one of those up there as well. And again, you can go back, once you've leveled up a bit, you can come back and you can go and fight them and get a big bunch of cool souls, and that's brilliant. I said, if the eagle-eyed of you might have noticed that as we walked out of here and went down these stairs, look, there's another bonfire. But how do you get there? And to be honest, I haven't. And the reason for that is because you see that edge of that, this little bit here, just through that gate? That's the bridge we ran across with the dragon on it. So you can eventually, you can get across there, but it requires more skill than I have. And to complete the game, you don't need to see it. So that's the thing, you don't need to do it. Now, we're going to be very, very cautious here. And the reason for that is, I'm sure you noticed the big metal pig. You do not want to tangle with a metal pig. I mean, you have to, eventually, but for now, we're not going to. It's necessary to advance. It's one of those little those bottlenecks that you need to kind of overcome. So, and I have noticed I haven't spent my souls either. Very naughty Cogent. So, just keep that up. There we are. Lovely. And it tends to be with those guys. As you can see, look. Once you're noticed, one of the other little enemies runs through that portcullis and shuts it. And you think, oh, good, that's fantastic, thanks a bunch. What you do is when you get to this area is you just jink off right and head up these stairs. You're going to get shot at a lot, and there's quite a lot of enemies, so again, remember, like we always do, just keep calm. Keep your movements nice and non-panicked. See, this guy is really frustrating because he... Well, as you can see, there we go. Oh my goodness. So, there you go. If it starts to get a little bit rough, you can head back down these stairs and get out of the way of the crossbow. What I tend to do is, rather than attack this guy, first off, I run straight by him and get onto these guys. Oh goodness, that is not good. That is what they call a mistake. So I'm going to run down here. So you can deal with those guys, and that's fine, and that's great. There we go. Ooh, hello. What you can see is that he is stuck and can't get by, which is really useful for us. So I'm gonna... So as you can see, that I did 5 damage to that pig, so that's why we're not going to deal with him just now. I don't know if you remember... There you go, a little bit of timing, remember? So I don't know if you remember, when we ran down these stairs initially, is that when I turned left, there was a little normal zombie guy, and he went, oh no, and ran off. There's a reason for that. It's because just through this archway, as you can see, look, cheeky devil. They were waiting for you, which is very naughty. So it's little things like that. Again, just being wary of your surroundings. Just keep that dodging. There's a couple of those zombies like this. There's quite a few. There we go. But again, if you treat them separately, if you separate them out, you don't get overwhelmed. You will get hit, and that's fine. But it'll be hit less. There's lots of little things here. Mystery key. We like it. The mystery key is for... I believe that locked door. When we first got to that dragon bridge and there was that locked door in front of us, that is what that door unlocks. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Dearie me. So much coffee making me belp. Belp? Burp. Or belch. One of the two. But not both. But you see, because whilst they're very easy to kill, it's very easy to see how you can get overwhelmed by them. So there we go. So what we do, a little bit of a balancing act, just to get to this thing here. What I find most important if you're doing this, is to make sure that all the enemies over there are dead, in case you do fall off. Because you do take a fair bit of damage in falling. There we go. We're just going to carefully walk. Lovely. That's fine. There we go. Easy peasy. I'm going to head up this ladder, and that's cool. There we go. So we've got a lot of stuff on fire. What you'll find as well is that those really cool handy tips that we find, some people will put them down just to mess with you. So, what we have here, look. Illusory wall ahead. You think, oh, that's good, because it's highly rated. But it's not. And what other people will do is put a message just before it saying, ladder ahead. So yes, people will just mess with you. You think, oh my goodness. It's going to be a horrible boss. Not this one. Is it? That's nice. But can you see where we've ended up? Have a little drink whilst I'm here. See, the thing is, we all have to deal with that pig eventually. That's the horrible thing about this. So, firstly, what I'm going to do is head through here. I'm going to turn right because there's a little bonus item here. Now, if you might notice that this guy looks a little bit different from the others, that's because he is, and he's a little bit tougher. So if we're quick and we're savvy, there we go. We can take off half his hit points immediately, and the reason we want to do that is because he is a rotter. Remember, when they're drinking, you can. Right, so what you see how he changed his sword? It's very important that you're not like me and just attack him, because what he'll do is end up parrying you and then stabbing you in the front like we did with our parries. That's not good. That is not good for us at all. So what we did, we got a Titanite shard. I'll explain a little bit what that does in a minute, but we also found a Night Shield, which is good. It's very good for us. But, oh dear, mate, something's in my eye, bear with me. Oh, goodness. So, see, it's much more, it's a little bit more stable. It's, well, actually, I'm looking at it now, and it's actually not actually that good. Ignore me. If you don't have a shield, it is a very good one. But, my little heater shield is actually much better, so I'm going to keep a hold of that one. Woo! So there are a couple more of those boulder guards, which is what they're called. So again, we're going to head up these stairs, and there's another little sneaky guy here. There you go. So what we can do, I'll just use that shield break technique again. That's the light attack and forward at the same time. That broke his guard, and then I could just stab him, which is very, very handy. And also, if you bear in mind, remember my light attack? Because it's a swing, and I hit the wall, it means it's not either not going to hit or do much less damage. So the important thing, or the right thing to do, which I didn't do, is to use your heavy attacks if you have a sword. Because it's a thrust. Therefore it's a narrow attack pattern. You see? It's pretty common sense. So, now here, I'm just going to carefully... See, we've got a guy there, but we also have a guy there. So... may have attracted the guy on the right. Yep, there he is, look. There you go. Again, break his guard. Oh dear, that's not good. So what we're going to do, because that's a little bit of a setback for us, we're just going to back up. There we go. Have you noticed this guy's slightly different from the other one we fought? It's because this guy's attacks are a little bit better, a little bit more predictable, which is useful for us. But he does have a bigger shield, which means it's important to kind of break that. But there you go. I cannot tell you how effective that guard break is on just dealing with people. So, well worth a go. And right, let's have a look. So, this is where we came up anyway, I believe. No, it's not. Silly me. No, it's not. Of course it isn't. So we're going to head down these stairs, and oh my goodness, where are we? We are on the other side of that portcullis. which is handy for us. So I'm going to just nip across here. I'm going to get that halberd. The halberd's very effective. I am going to... Oh dear, he actually managed to spot me. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm waiting for that timing. Because those guys, they might have like a really cool and spooky, they're very, very buff. What they'll always do is they'll run up guarding and then they'll drop their guard to attack. So once you know that, you can kind of work out how far your sword thrust is, and you can just start the attack before they start blocking. It's a bit fiddly, it can be sometimes, but ow. And then other times, like me, you might not be able to fight just a normal guy. So, the basement key, that's the one I wanted. No, the mystery key is for something else, and I will explain that to you soon. So, you might notice a bit of a problem here. Is that this is a shortcut. Fantastic. Unfortunately, there is a big metal pig, which is not ideal. Puts me up too high, so I'm not going to wield that just now. But I am going to do it, but I'm also very bravely going to run away for the last part of our video today. Because I could technically go out there and give him a go, but I don't particularly want to just now. You see where that guy came out? Into that church? We don't have to go in there just yet, and there's a very important reason why. We're going to head back up these stairs, and instead of turning, when we came back out of this archway, and we turn left, and we turn left again, we're going to head straight on. Bum, 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 bum. And this takes us around the side of that cathedral, which is very nice. Remember to take advantage of your sweeping attacks if you have a weapon that sweeps. There you go. Remember to try and get behind your enemies to attack as well. And again, we're keeping nice and calm all the time. And we're going to give it a stab. You remember those summoning things I talked about before? Because I have humanity, they are now visible to me. Look. As you can see, I can actually summon someone if I wanted to, and you can see what they look like, what armour they have on. That's all very posh and very exciting, but we're not going to summon him today, because we're about to finish up today. So, the reason why there's a summon space here is because people want to help out. And the reason they want to help out is because there's a very angry man behind that. But we're not going to worry about that just now. We are going to head away from the cathedral, and we're going to run down here. And there's a reason for this. It's because we want to find some safety. Gonna run down these stairs. And oh my goodness, it's only a ruddy bonfire. Fantastic. And that means now we can spend our souls, which is great. So I'm going to level up. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to get a couple more points in vitality. I'm going to have one more in endurance, and then I'm going to stack. So stacking is basically me just putting a whole bunch of points in. There we go. So now I'm a lot more strong. I've got a lot more hit points, and I can carry heavier stuff, which is fantastic. So you'll notice that my damage will go up now, which is very, very good. How long have we been? So yeah, so I'm going to finish up in a moment. What I'll do is introduce you to one of your best friends in this entire game, and this guy, shirtless and buff, is Andre.
Well, you must be a new arrival.
With a great voice.
I'm Andre.
So I'm going to skip all that. So what he does, he can improve your items. Do you remember a little bit previously we picked up a Titanite shard? What that means is that we can upgrade our weapons, which is fantastic. However, what we're going to do is we're going to hold off on that for the time being. So what I can potentially do is go, oh yeah, I can make it a little bit better. And I can spend that Titanite shard and a couple of souls to increase its damage. But I don't really want to invest in this longsword because there are better weapons down the line. So I'm going to keep a hold of it. And you can push that. So, and he also has items that you can buy. I'm very poor at the moment, as you can see. But a lot of the stuff, so he sells arrows, which is very useful if you do have a bow.
I'll be seeing you then.
Yeah, no problem.
Be careful.
So I'm going to run down these stairs to show you what's through here, because this is where we'll be going in our next video. Oh my goodness! Don't panic, remember. So I'm going to go head back to my bonfire and rest up. And that is the next leg in your journey. Completed. Congratulations, you've done it, you nailed it, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much for watching today. We're going to carry on. We're going to explore a little bit the Darkroot Basin, which is the next kind of step that we need to take in our journey. We'll also explore the cathedral, where we just explored, but a little bit more fully, and talk about some shortcuts and some cool stuff that we can do there. I hope you liked my video today. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you click that little subscribe and thumbs up button, because it makes my life so much better, so much easier, and allows me to make better streams for you. And if you want to see me live, I play Souls-like games, I play tabletop roleplay games, and just anything that I really fancy over on my Twitch channel. The username is Cogent, and I would love to see you there. But until next time, stay hydrated, stay in a nice mental space, take your medication if you need to, and I will see you next time. Alright, take it easy, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye! Goodbye!